18. 40 million Western Americans get their water from the Colorado River that first fills Lakes Mead and Powell reservoirs, or used to through the 20th century. Soon those formerly monstrous created lakes will go dry, thanks to snow and rainfall down to 10%, even 5% of normal. Ask 1,000 politicians, what's our plan B to water people and plants? And they reply, conservation. Of what? Dust? Around my home state of Texas and beyond, 40 million Southern Americans and cattle ranchers buy, raise, and sell beef. Before CO2 earth scorching and cracking, 24 to 48 inches of annual rainfall nurtured spring and summer grass and hay to feed cattle. In the first 7 months of 2022, only 4 inches resulted in fields of near dead or totally gone grass. A massive 4 months early scrawny cattle sell-off is underway. Thousands of cattle ranchers about to end generations of their livelihood report their only plan B, begging every American to pray for rain. God, however, cannot penetrate our greenhouse gas explosion, scorching and parching every inhabited continent. Nor did he respond to the prayers of some of those 1960s scientists who predicted our rain disappearance. Please inspire our leaders to reduce emissions and develop alternative water sources. As long as we can't be bothered to speak up. God is not a magician of supernatural rescue. Most do believe, though, in his creation of and evolution of human talent for organized adaptation against danger and for problem solving. Our final crisis leaves him praying that you and I get hard to work when our corrupt leaders have abandoned us to doomsday. I am one little idea man, unable to even go sufficiently public without steady help from you family lovers, activists, experts, and leaders to enforce emergency truth and our critical humanity rescue agenda upon all with the power to carry it out. How far can you and I reach and galvanize all who must save our fast-dying world? The answer can only be our unceasing action, perfectly targeted at each peril and abuse. Act now, or we all suffer horribly and die tragically early. Is not everyone's greatest, happiest living purpose to work for the 100% interdependent safety, thriving, and happiness of others? Now helping all to save my family, the new love. It's impossible to end this thing when yet another terminal disaster report mandates even stronger and better treaty and national rescue. An NPR reporter has been detailing India's scavenger mothers' deepening crisis for years. Similar to worldwide urban slum population explosions, India's huge cities have mountain-sized refuse dumps. Thousands of people, mostly destitute mothers without other work or support, pick through the trash for edible food and useful items to sell for scant but regular cash. Decades ago, far smaller populations were better employed, and sun-baked scavengers were far less harmed by tolerable heat. Now they must attempt day sleep at 110 degrees in the shade and work at night. Their severely short water stashes don't quite boil and evaporate, but minimal hydration drives maximum misery. Long ago, small trash fires organically, spontaneously combusted in midsummer heat. Now enormous blazes burn out of control for weeks, filling every suffering lung with massive, sickening, poisoning toxins. But these poor, loving, struggling mothers get zero medical, clinic, nurse, and doctor care. Trash workers occasionally pool their tiny funds for modest, non-prescription pharmacy medicine, hope to ease their debilitating respiratory illnesses. Many, though, become quickly too sick to get out of bed to earn even pennies for water and food, much less medicine that would still fail to clean up their poisonous air supply. Their lot now is gasping for breath as they send tiny children out to scavenge, hoping to hasten their own deaths to slightly reduce survival crises of remaining loved ones. The reporter learned from mental health professionals that all this hopeless, ever-increasing suffering and grief devastates every weeping spirit and soul with endless emotional misery far beyond any life struggle and pain endured for some measure of hope. Most of us have been shocked for some minutes, hours, or days in fear of newly threatened disaster and perhaps death. We cannot, however, even imagine thus battling each day for years, only certain of ever greater suffering and impending death of our entire family. Unless, of course, you review this speech that projects, without your public rescue, terminal drought, hunger, and depression all storming miserably, then fatally into ever richer world portions until slamming permanently into your community and household. This year of 2022 alone accelerates global inflation and weakening economies, both shrinking our rescue potential. Most of us are mighty glad that only other victims are unemployed in 110-degree urban slums with less than one air conditioner per 100 hovels. Just be aware that every government on earth now lacking the necessarily world-negotiated and effected rescue laws and action industries that I detail is not up to 5% of financial, legal, industrial, existential challenges from the exploding crises of drought, poverty, overpopulation, hunger, war, and ever more likely nuclear doomsday. So what on earth must our ultimate, indispensable VIP, you, do? Think like few ever have. Review my speech's legal, industrial, and treaty imperatives. Don't weaken, just improve in power, focus, completion, and effect every one. Now act and never give up, never stop. Boy, are you sick of me. Chicken Little wailing, "The sky is falling." If I don't shut up, get positive, in fact, both, you'll never rouse your vital emotional power and passion to build love, salvation, and joy. Let's agree that I must now wind down my incessant, if true, horror stories to springboard to their finally happy motivation and schemes. Imagine, then ever work for the fabulous potential of each and every nation in a world in agreement to legally cement voting rights, ban politician bribery, meaning all cash gifts, effecting that world treaty taking tens of trillions from war and pollution industries, Now, formally, legally spending every cent, unpolluting every trash mountain, housing, feeding, and watering every homeless and unemployed person, creating safe work for all, providing free medical care for all, and building every atmosphere and water restoration factory as fast as possible to save billions of lives. 60 years ago, all world crisis and future analysts agreed that without planetary population control, many billions would complete irreversible, fatal wrecking of all biospheres while starving and thirsting to death even faster. The non-existing World Organization for Rescue has ensured ignoring their imperative warning about doomsday ever since. Yes, a number of highly industrialized and full household professional nations have dramatically declining birth rates. But nearly all of the Eastern and Third World has doubled or tripled quite unsupportable and massively global scorching populations. 100% worldwide birth control must be a central tenet of our Swords into Plowshares treaty. Look, I'm only demanding, initially just to keep us alive, what every constitution and humanist also insists upon, just in the necessary detail and application. That we organize to care for every beloved equal, never again to savagely crush corrupt war government patriarchies, inferior, oppressed, exploited, robbed castes. If you're not wildly passionate for sweet human justice and respect, just care for all to meet every escalating, existential, terminal threat to your sweet ass and your honeys, parents, and kids. That's right. Jump on the first and only plan that saves your family and future, instead of rolling over and lying down for nothing from nobody while you pretend that shoving certain death under that rug makes you safe. Ain't that classic insanity to the third power? Expecting long-proven, exploding, terminal disaster, utterly, universally unaddressed, to somehow, anyway, help either you or Mr. Spock to live long and prosper. So let's all seize on our single total sanity. Necessarily maximum rescue of maximum emergencies. Now, before we gots to agree to shut my damn mouth, want to know a secret? Crazy love and work for all humanity to save my ass too is really fascinating, hopeful, diverting, emotionally sweet, and sometimes even a bunch of fun. Yeah, I'm the nutball demanding massive legal action to save us. Treaty and national laws and projects must be directed at thousands of desalination, flood collecting, irrigation, everyone's water supply, and atmosphere repair factories. Today, the explosive death of our temperate climate and normal rain life support is only exceeded by glacial public inattention for even beginning our rescue. My every warning, simple logic from everyone's media information must be confirmed or contradicted by true expert listeners' own crash research. Then your demands and actions will determine what chunk of us all in 5, 10, and 20 years will suffer and die from total loss of drink, food, and economic life support. Our totally failed leaders leave all human survival in your hands as does my question. How many can you help to survive? Who will then save even more precious families and children? Your every dream and realization of everyone's love, success, security, health, happiness, and longevity can only be gloried and persisted in as we meet and surmount danger. Our human and your family's titanic, exploding, and terminal, if not solved, peril. Our pact to act. Now, suppose I'm about fried. Somebody must take over our public campaign, our lawful, industrial, legal, loving, boundlessly energetic rescue. Well, who